Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Empress of the Void, Bel'Veth, who was released June 9th, 2022, which means she shares a birthday with John and Mark.
I actually didn't realize she was a June 9th release.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Me neither.
Hell yeah.
I knew she was just released, obviously. Also, if you need to know how to remember their birthdays, it's 69.
69,
At least in America. Oh, that's true. In other countries,
EU.
other countries, it's 96. That's not nearly as exciting.
No, it's like the opposite. It's just two people with their backs
That's
facing each other.
Yeah, you got one bed in the hotel room, and it's like, look, we're just going to...
Oh, that's how John and I sleep. Although not feet to butt. Yeah, it's just back to back, you know?
Belly to
You got
belly.
each other's back, you know? In case like something comes through the window. Bel'Veth comes through trying to take over the birthday. There you go.
My birthday, Bel'Veth. It's a bad Bel'Veth.
Right? Smack her with a
That would be
newspaper.
a great birthday party. A newspaper. Oh, y'all already, getting ready to get killed by Bel'Veth. Well, we're back for a minute. We'll see how this works out.
Yeah.
So, what does Our Lady Bel'Veth sound like?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm
I had to
ill
look it
prepared
up.
for this.
Yeah, I think she's the first champion we've done so far where I have not actually played her in game. Because I've not
True.
been playing much League
Yeah.
lately.
Yeah. We haven't either.
Yeah. Come on, y'all aren't banging out fucking grinding
With our
that solo
Climbing
queue.
that ladder.
Her
Climbing
6-week-old
that
baby.
She sounds like, I know it. She sounds like, I crave everything.
Oh, she has that accent?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I remember watching the video now, and she talks so much in that. She didn't shut the fuck up. She Bond villain monologued it, rather. And I still can't. I don't know. All right, John wrote down a quote for me, I assume.
Yeah, two quotes always.
Maroon Terror.
I love how that turned into like southern, like
Maroon
gentle lady.
Terror will be beautiful. All right, that's my. Shit.
I thought you were going with a Borat. My Runeterra.
That's what I was eventually going with.
My life.
I'd like a Borat Bel'Veth skin, by the way. Now
Oh
where
my
she's
God,
wearing that
yes.
bathing suit or something.
Yeah.
Beth.
Borbeth. All right, John, you top that. Good luck.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Hello, my little one. Who's my smoochy boochy baby? You are. You are.
The fuck? Did she say that to her little fishies? You don't know.
Anyone,
We don't know. I don't
anyone
know.
can be her little smoochy boochy baby.
I'd be her little smoochy
That's
boochy
true.
baby. Are you kidding me, mommy?
Slap on me, mommy.
Disgusting. We've been saving all this up for y'all. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. On the Riot Universe page, Bel'Veth just has her bio and a short story. I don't think is that video linked? It's got to be, right? There's no way it's not. I barely
actually.
looked at this at like
don't think
5:30 in the
it
morning this morning while caring for my little one. So yeah, I have no idea. I also have no notes, and I'm taking zero criticism on that this week.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have
It
notes.
is not linked, I will say, because I was looking at it today. And, yeah.
Oh, they done goofed it. Yeah, she has a release video. That's really fantastic. We talked about
And
that
2 teaser videos.
in the revisit. We talked about that video quite a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, weird. Not a single video. Okay, well.
They have a link to the Void as a region, which I guess is like, hey, that's something. You know?
I guess.
I guess.
Helpful. Riot.
Yeah, yeah.
So this bio is by Jared Rosen,
Okay.
who seems to be the the Bel'Veth writer in general, as he also wrote Pinwheel and the Feast of the Prophet story that references Bel'Veth, which we had read before Bel'Veth came out. And I have all these notes, like, ooh, wonder what this is referring to and everything. And man, reading it now, it makes way more sense, all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, like, trying to do the summary for it, and there's, like, a big stretch where it's like, well, it's kind of hard to say what's literally happening because it's kind of really poetic, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. But you can put a lot more, like, not names to faces, but I know you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. This is the
names to manta rays.
This is the Malzahar stuff, right?
Yeah.
That we had the mishap of recording the Malzahar episode before Bel'Veth was released, but the Malzahar episode came out after Bel'Veth was released, so we had a number of people messaging us and commenting and whatnot, being like, "Oh, isn't that Bel'Veth? How did you fucking dumbass idiots?
You goddamn idiots!" And guys, come on.
Be nicer.
You're not wrong, but...
So, to be fair, I don't think
generally
anyone said that.
Now everyone was very nice about it.
Yeah. I kind of like it because it is a nice, like, that's the emotion that I'm sure they were going for with that story, was kind of captured in that episode of like, man, I don't know what this is exactly referring to and all the mystery. And now it's just Bel'Veth. Not that that's bad. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. But it's a good episode. That's all.
We did our best.
We did our fucking best, man.
Honestly, I think we don't have a lot to talk about here, so it's fine.
Speak for yourself.
I think like the champions that aren't as popular don't get as many downloads, and it's such a shame because honestly, they're our most unhinged and fun episodes ever. I highly recommend them.
There's a champion you don't give a shit about. There's a good chance the writers don't either.
Yeah,
so join us for those episodes.
If you're like, that champ has no lore, I'm not going to listen to this episode. It's probably our best episode.
Yeah, I like that. Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw is one, if I remember correctly.
I think we get the most compliments on the Jax episode. A lot of people come out to us and say that one was really funny. I honestly don't even remember it now. But anyway.
Eggs.
Bio
That's all you need
by
to know.
Jared Rosen.
Right. Do you have notes for this, Mark? Because I sure don't.
I can kind of talk through it.
We can figure it out, right?
Sure, right. So Bel'Veth was just a normal, like, part of the void. I don't know. This is a little hard to finagle into that joke.
No, this running gag. I was trying to think of it when I was reading her bio. And at the very beginning of her bio, they call her a Cancer. And I was like, do I want to say that Bel'Veth was just a normal Cancer floating around in the void? Not really.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work. But
no.
Because it's kind of introducing, like, the void, and it's kind of expounding on a little bit of what's going on with the void now, which is that, like, there's the void as we all know it, but what has kind of happened over time is that as the void interacts with the world is kind of changing the void, and so this little pocket in part of the void is starting to, like, develop, and things that have interacted with the void are kind of starting to show up, like parts of a building or like an arm that's just kind of stuck out there. and what has kind of happened, what the bio essentially is telling us through like half of it, is that part of the void has kind of changed and is a little different than what we normally think of, whereas void, like Watcher style, is we want to be nothing. We used to be nothing and it was great, and now we're something and we don't like that. We want to destroy everything. Now there's this other part of the void that is more all about like just wanting to be and experience and consume everything, right? Does that sound about right? Is that a good like kind of description of it?
Yeah.
Sort of this yeah, it's like this shift in how the void operates and what it wants. Instead of just like returning to nothing, it now wants to consume everything and experience everything, like emotions and just all these things, and just like it sees life as like a vehicle to consume all that, and needing kind of a leader or like a consciousness to direct that. Bel'Veth kind of came into being, and I think it says that specifically like this port city in, I guess, Acathia, maybe Shurima, I don't remember the exact location of it, was kind of consumed, and the consciousness of it was used to kind of create Bel'Veth as we know it, her, whatever. And I mean, beyond that, it's is there anything I'm really missing? She's just kind of this looming, ominous god of oblivion, I think is what they kind of say her name kind of means.
Yeah, it was interesting because like they mentioned that the ancient Shirimans, like Bel'Veth is loosely translated to god of oblivion, and they named the city of Bel'Veth after the god of oblivion, and then Bel'Veth ate the city of Bel'Veth and took the name Bel'Veth after eating the city, and just so happened to have ate the city that was named after the god with whom she shares so many traits.
They really were trying to like explain away why they decided to do this.
There's a real Ouroboros there.
I know.
Yeah. It probably could have been a little more subtle, like, or something that would feel like it made sense, but not so on the nose. But I guess the other interesting thing to know is that, like, there's that little spark, that little part or like pocket of the void that has crap going on in it is known as like the Lavender Sea, and we see that in other parts of the her lore, right? And that's where the things that get consumed by the void go and are kind of reconfigured. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah, I feel like this is all represented much better in her video.
Yeah, honestly, right? This is like trying to describe what you're seeing in the video for the most part. And that she kind of runs antagonist to the watchers, that she has other goals than them. And so there's a conflict there, potentially, between her and the watchers.
Now, it was interesting, because I know, like, Vel'Koz kind of works for the watchers and everything, and it seems interesting how connected the two of their methods of gaining, not because she like wants to consume everything to like know everything, and like that's kind of Vel'Koz's thing too.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of weird to see them on like opposite ends of this war essentially.
It feels like with Void Champions, Riot, the lore team keeps kind of changing their mind or not sure what they want to do with the Void, and they keep releasing champions and giving them lore and then kind of changing what they want to do with the next release is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And they're making it work the best that they can. I like the idea of Bel'Veth. I think expanding on the Void is really important, and this is an interesting way to do it. But yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. If you really look at all of the Void bios and backstories and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess with Vel'Koz, I mean, I don't know because he's in the V's.
Yeah, we haven't gotten there, John. How do you know this about Vel'Koz?
Yeah, he could do anything.
He's got a quote that says knowledge through disintegration.
That's it. That's all John's knowledge about Vel'Koz is that one quote.
Right. I think that maybe the distinction one might try to draw would be that she consumes and kind of subsumes everything into, her and her little void pocket. And,
wow. That's an erotic novel I'd like to read.
Void Pocket.
I mean,
Vel'Veth's Void Pocket.
Stuff by the
like
void, I'm telling you.
Void Pocket.
Who are you gonna pick?
Did you say stuffed by the void at the same time? I forgot about that one. We said that at some point. John did, I think. Yeah.
I think that was I don't remember which one that was from, but
me neither. No.
It's another one of those episodes because Void Champion had nothing going on, so we were just talking about bullshit. But with the Vel'Koz thing, his thing is more about like destroying things and like just disintegrating them into nothing, whereas she is kind of doing something else and whatever's kind of going on with this Lavender Sea situation.
It's like repurposing them.
I suppose.
She's looking to like rebuild, but like in her image.
Yeah, I kind of got Upside Down vibes for the Lavender Sea. It kind of felt like the Upside Down from Stranger Things a little bit, where she was like having a dark reflection of the world above.
So maybe that's why she's not friends with Vel'Koz, because he disintegrates and then she can't absorb.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of my read on it.
Now she's got to absorb him to get all that shit from him.
Sure, right. I think the Upside Down's a really apt comparison. If you're trying to like listen there, if you're trying to like figure out what the hell's going on, that's a super yeah. That to me it crystallizes the whole thing really clearly. Like, okay, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was the vibe that I got. And now it's with this city Bel'Veth that she consumed. She's kind of leaking the Upside Down into what that was and rebuilding it, if that makes sense.
And like, I didn't realize until reading the bio actually that she didn't just devour the city of Bel'Veth. She also devoured the ocean surrounding the city of Bel'Veth.
Oh, really?
Which makes her, all her, aquatic imagery make a lot more sense to me now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
I didn't even fucking think about that.
Sure. I was right where you were at, John, because I have been wondering, I know that the undersea stuff is a cool image, but why is it, they call it the Lavender Sea and stuff, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I guess I didn't imagine Shurima with ocean near it at all.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's a port city, but...
it's easy to forget, frankly.
I know. Also, I know I feel like we've given a lot of bio shit in the past for being very unspecific and being like, oh, they've got a mysterious past. And then I feel like, went out of their way to describe what she was. And now I kind of get why they go with mysterious past sometimes.
Sometimes it's a happy medium,
The quote I have here is that she is the end result of an allergic reaction between the void and a nascent reality. Okay, I get it. A dark and mysterious past. All right, I'm on board.
Yeah, I that line did stick out to me a bit.
Oh my god, me too. It was like the one line that fucking stuck out. I think because she'd also been already compared to a cancer that was masticizing or whatever. So I'm like, how many illnesses is she really?
She's a stuffy nose. And
she's the stubbed toe of Runeterra.
Oh, fuck. It's a shame because I like a lot of the way that the rest of the bio is written. It's a little more entertaining than some of them can be. Like the cancer growing.
Masticizing.
Thank you. Masticating.
She is masticating. I guess.
Right? Yeah. That's more effective, and then there's other parts in there that are good,
Yeah. And I would say way more effort put into this bio than a lot of other bios we've read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I agree. Jared Rosen got a little overly poetic. He got a little wrapped up in there and describing Bel'Veth. It happens.
I like the idea that there were 3 paragraphs of just the poison ivy. Okay, they edited it down a little. But
all the different things she can be. I just don't want to think about my allergies and pollen. It's not as threatening as a cancer.
I was gonna say, does it make you start sniffling? You just already start getting all hivey just thinking about it.
Right.
Be like, summer's ending. Okay, I'm getting rid of these allergies. Don't pull me back in.
Only other thing here, there was a section of this bio too that said, to those lucky enough to be of strategic value to her, she does not lie, ask questions, nor obfuscate the truth. She simply states the nature of things, for with victory all but assured, thanks to the very nature of the void itself, there's no need to say anything more. Which they kind of explain in more words or less exactly that same concept also in Pinwheel. Probably didn't need to double up, but Pinwheel. David.
I was rewatching Schitt's Creek, and John saw more of it than he ever had before. No, he keeps trying to do Moira impressions. And they're not good.
What do you mean try? You mean every now and then Moira will appear in the room?
No. No, that is not what I mean. And it's always the name David. You always go, David. It's not that.
I feel like it's also because we were watching Alone and there was a contestant named David, so we saw it a lot.
Yeah, but we always make a reference to Legion instead, because they're always like, David.
See, and now I get to combine the two of them.
David.
Like a true impressional mastermind.
All right, anyway.
So, moving on to Pinwheel.
Pinwheel.
Actually, did we want to try and go in chronological order? Because I feel like the
we can do that. Like the teasers and then
checking on my baby.
Yeah, because I feel like the cinematic would be first in that case.
And
then lead into Pinwheel.
In John's Pinwheel notes, he wrote a line, from it, and it's okay, Kaisa pants. But I just kept reading it as okay, Kaisa pants. Like she has Kaisa pants on. I'm kind of buzzed because I can be.
Did you finish reading my note?
No. Oh, what? The rest of his note was, I thought she was calling herself Kaisa Pants.
Okay, Kaisa Pants, you can do this.
Man, great fucking minds over there.
I thought you were saying that like Kaisa's pants were okay. Like, okay, Kaisa Pants. Like Kaisa Pants that are just okay.
No, she's
We're not on a lot of sleep. Okay.
the
got
very
so
like
much more
opening
from
of
this.
I know, right? The very opening of the story, she's like, okay, and it's like it says like Kaisa Pants as if she was like, okay, Kaisa says, but she's panting it instead of saying it. But I saw okay, Kaisa Pants, and I was like, oh. Okay, Kaisa Pants.
This is why you just say says and said instead of trying to put pants or gas or whatever.
God, that's what
Anyway.
Next time we play and you're playing Kaisa, that is all I'm gonna fucking call you.
Just Kaisa Pants.
Hey, Kaisa
Yeah.
Pants. Snipe
Hey,
that
nice
guy.
W, Kaisa Pants.
Did you want to talk
Anyway.
about the teasers at all? Because those could even
yeah.
potentially be before the cinematic, maybe. I don't
I
know.
feel like those might be after the cinematic, right? It seems like she's more
Could be.
established at that point.
I think it's hard because I think they did come out before the cinematic because they're teasers, as it were. But they could kind of be anywhere.
Oh yeah,
frankly.
I meant okay. Yeah, I should have been more clear. Chronological timeline as opposed to release time.
Yes, that's what Mark is talking about.
Oh. Okay. I thought you were talking about release.
It's okay, Kaisa Pants.
Great. Well, you fucked this episode. I'm sorry.
That's my new pet name for him. Anyway, I don't care what order. Just pick one.
Sure. We'll do the trailer. Teaser stuff is
Okay.
whatever anyway.
All it will ever be.
Yeah. So this one essentially follows the fall, right? Where at the end of that, Kaisa fell down a giant hole, and it picks up where she lands, and she is down amongst the lavender sea, where there's all sorts of weird void imagery going on. It's things are getting weirdly mixed together. Like there's a ship, kind of almost toy that's like also got wings on it, right? Or maybe I'm thinking about Pinwheel. It's got butterflies and stuff on it, right?
It does, yeah. And for clarification, I think we thought that this might have been right after the fall. I do think that there's time between the fall and this, because she does mention in Pinwheel how she had heard that there was something going down in Bel'Veth and had rushed here to try and stop it, but didn't get there in
Okay.
time. So
Then
I
I
do
am
think that
wrong.
there may have been.
I
Fuck
apologize.
you, Mark. You're fucking wrong.
I'm just an idiot. I'm just talking out my ass.
Getting slapped down by Kaisa Pants over here.
Right? Well, she's down in and amongst, deep in the void, and she lands in the lavender sea, and she sees this figure. It's Bel'Veth, and Bel'Veth, like you were saying, is Bond villain, kind of monologuing at her, and Kaisa's being restrained by these weird arm things that are growing out of the walls, and they're kind of peeling away the symbiote off of Kaisa, and Kaisa is seeing Bel'Veth in her true horrible glory, and Bel'Veth is really just menacing her, and it also kind of showcases visually how quick and powerful Bel'Veth is, right?
Yeah, she fast.
Yep. And it leads into Pinwheel, and that's where like the real story kind of happens. For this, it's mostly just the visuals of like, hey, this is what the Lavender Sea looks like, and this is what Bel'Veth like looks like, and especially like the idea that her human face is just. They even say in the bio, it's not like really a face. It's almost like a disguise, or it's just like there are sensory organs in there. But there's the actual thing is something much worse and weirder.
Right, which was kind of a nice touch in the cinematic too, whenever
Yeah.
Bel'Veth is monologuing and her lips aren't fully matching up with the words that she's saying.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, that's a really
It's fun
neat
that-
detail.
There was a Void episode where we were talking about how cool it would be if the Void started taking on human form. And I just want to say, we're fucking geniuses.
Right?
Yeah.
We called it.
We did.
They've listened to our episode and they're like, ooh, that's good. We should.
This is Stingray champ we've got coming out. Let's give her a human form.
Is it too late to change the cinematic? Give her a human face.
It's like MS Paint drawn on. Right? Like,
That's it, John did it.
But yeah, it's a really neat detail. I think like this one is really impressive. Just like the visual design of the Lavender Sea is very cool. And I remember we talked about this in the revisit, but like the way, like, the idea of peeling the symbiote off of Kaisa is a really cool way of attacking her, right? It's like something that they don't do a lot in her stories even, is deal with the fact that she's got this living thing that you can potentially strip away from her as like a source of her power. And like the reveal of Bel'Veth partially happening not even on screen, it's being just reflected in Kaisa's eye for a bit before you see what's going on. It's a nice way of building that tension, little horror bit almost, you know, which I really like.
Yeah, it's very cool. I liked it, and you also got to hear the Bel'Veth theme in it too, which honestly the Bel'Veth theme isn't my favorite theme in terms of just like listening to a theme, but in terms of like being the background music for like this cinematic works really well.
Yeah, I really like it. I mean, I know what you mean. Like, you're not going to be chilling out listening to 10 hours of Bel'Veth's weird, discordant theme.
There's very few of the League themes that I would listen to on repeat like that. But yeah.
Talia all day.
Draven.
Oh, yeah. Draven?
No, I'm just bullshitting.
Oh, I was like, I'm trying to remember Draven's theme.
Draven.
It's like 40 seconds long.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, but that leads directly into the short story Pinwheel. Just another one we also talked about in the revisit, but it is more getting into like the finery of Bel'Veth's monologuing to Kaisa and just kind of laying out here's what's going on. You know, I'm gonna run roughshod over everything, and almost kind of putting it out there that like, yeah, I'm a threat and I'm a big fucking problem, but there's a bigger problem in the form of the Watchers, and that's what you really need to deal with. And after you deal with them, maybe you might be able to stop me. You won't, but you might. And kind of setting Kaisa off to, I guess, spread the word and potentially try and, like, Bel'Veth is trying to get people to help her, right, with the Watchers.
Yeah.
I was so confused too. Like, I don't know which note I had here, but I was definitely not 100% sure what Kaisa was gonna do. So like Bel'Veth says, like, should the Watchers escape their prison, there'll be no breaking their tide. Time will come to a close and all things will end. Which, I mean, like, it sounds like they're pretty fucking strong, and you just slapped the shit out of Kaisa. Like, what the fuck is Kaisa gonna do to help you here that you can't just do on your own?
It's a good question. It's like, this is like the making a deal with like a green dragon like setup, right? Where it's like, it is a good question of like, what, you know, obviously Bel'Veth, there's some value that she thinks Kaisa and all of these mortal things can, you know, maybe
Bring me
maybe
peaches.
there's, she just, yeah, I don't know. Maybe she just really thinks that, maybe not Kaisa individually, but she can become a leader and galvanize enough of a resistance to stop the Watchers, in the way that Lysandra maybe almost kind of did.
Famously charismatic and beloved by humans, Kaisa.
Right. It is true. She couldn't have picked a worse person, maybe.
I guess she didn't know.
How does she not know? She knows everything.
In that one city. Yeah, I talked about this in the revisit, but I really like how Bel'Veth is offering the same deal that Lysandra got from the Watchers originally, of, you know, you help us and we'll spare you. We'll kill you last. And maybe in that time you'll find a way to beat me. You won't, but you might. Lysandra did. At least she found a way to pause the defeat. So yeah, I am really interested in, and Bel'Veth must know that the Watchers gave that deal to Lysandra. So I'm hoping this is all intentional by the people who wrote the lore, because I really like that reflection. I think that's really fun, and I'm curious how it's going to play out. But
in the MMO.
yeah, in the or Arcane. We saw hints of the Void in Arcane. I don't think it would be an Arcane, because Arcane takes place in the past.
That would be a hell of a fucking thing. The season, it's like a season 7 thing to do, but goddamn, that's a good season.
God.
After they've jumped the Rek'Sai.
Hey.
I can't. I'm so curious. I don't want to talk about Arcane here, but we were watching the behind the scenes on Arcane lately, and it keeps me thinking about all the void hints that were in Arcane. But anyway.
Sure. I mean, to what you were saying, I think I've repeated myself multiple times in other episodes saying I don't trust Riot on X or Y. I don't trust the writers, but in this instance, I do trust them, and I think that was done intentionally.
I think so too.
Yeah. So I've got trust. I hope I don't get burned.
Right. And given the other Graves TF piece we got from Jared too, I feel like he's got a better pulse on other stories that are happening and connecting the pieces in meaningful ways.
He definitely seems really he's read all the lore. That's what it feels like.
Sure. He's read the skin lore too, man. He knows.
He knows that that's no iceberg.
What?
Oh my god. I know exactly. Yeah. Malphite, right?
Yeah.
Oh, cheese and rice. Okay.
So one of the things from Bel'Veth's story that I get, and it kind of highlighted, we occasionally will see descriptions of champions and then think about their in-game models and be like, man, we do not get a good scale of this champion in-game. And Bel'Veth is definitely one of those. One of the descriptions was each glistening tooth in her mouth was now the size of a grown adult and getting bigger.
I feel like that's not even
much larger than her manta ray form in game would suggest.
I feel like that's not even super communicated in the cinematic. I mean, to be fair, it says she's growing, so maybe the cinematic is you start here and then you get bigger and bigger. But that would be cool. Something that was rivaled the cho'gath type situation would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Or Galio, because Galio is also massive.
Yeah, in the wiki it actually said that her full-grown size is the size of Galio. I don't know exactly where they got that information because it wasn't cited. So anything that they don't have citations for, I just assume is estimates and shit. Which could be maybe they're if each tooth was the size of a human, and then each of Galio's fingernails is the size of this from this other story, then maybe
I'm really picturing, because at Riot, all of the walls are these boards that people put notes on, and I'm just imagining someone there with size comparisons.
Oh, it's gotta exist somewhere.
Just all
If
the
they have
boards
those,
in the middle of the hall.
I want to see them. I want to see the silhouettes of things stacked next to each other.
Yeah.
That would be a cool
that'd be
thing to show.
great.
That'd be awesome.
I like how they're tiny things they measure in Teemos, and I guess the big things they measure in Galio's.
I think another thing on the size of scale was a description of their voice that they gave, which I really liked. It said it is a voice that bends and contracts, whispers and screams. The layers continue without end, an aria sung not by one voice, but by millions. I want to hear a voice like that at just one point in my life to fully comprehend what the fuck that means, but it sounds cool as hell.
Yeah.
Sure.
This is a great story. I really recommend reading it, particularly right after you watch Bel'Veth's release video, because it literally takes place right after that video.
Absolutely.
And it's super cool.
Yeah. I think there's a detail that they like again, her speaking and the facial movements not lining up. I like also there's a moment where Kaisa is looking out at the lavender sea and is kind of she's examining it, trying to kind of take it in and make judgments and figure out what's going on. And she notes that Bel'Veth starts kind of mimicking that, even though Bel'Veth obviously doesn't need to do what any information gathering. It's just almost like a reflex to just start mimicking what humans are doing around her to try and like match them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. I feel like we all noticed the mouth not lining up with the audio, and I feel like if you weren't familiar with Riot's like cinematics, you would be like, wow, they really fucked this up. But I feel like because we all know, like they don't fuck
the
they
team
don't
that's
fuck
not
up
gonna
that
fuck
stuff.
up.
Yeah, like that was intentional. Every frame is intentional.
Yeah,
They're
for sure.
expensive.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say they'll hide that mouth if they don't want to do the lip syncing.
Hide the mouth. Put a burger in front of it or something. Why I said that. They've had like 1.5 glasses of wine, and that's all it fucking takes, y'all.
I love it. Just
These days.
Kaisa, you're.
She's just the Hamburglar. Can I get a Hamburglar? Bel'Veth,
They've got to put like a hamburger filter over her audio too.
Hamburger.
I'm sure they just have.
There's definitely a hamburger filter somewhere, right?
That's
gotta be.
We're so old.
No.
We know Instagram filters or TikTok. I don't know what.
Another detail I liked about this story, by the way, was
Thank you.
it said when Bel'Veth started talking, it said that Kaisa couldn't move her armor, which was frozen in a sort of paralytic awe, which was a very neat thing with like Bel'Veth being kind of like an apex void thing, like the idea that Kaisa's armor is like literally just a void creature, like that will probably be affected by shit like that. We hadn't seen it before, so that was interesting to see, and it was a very like, it made me think immediately of like Wolverine trying to fight Magneto.
Yeah.
I can't remember if we talked about that or not in the revisit.
We did.
We did.
I know,
I thought
'cause I
so
edited
because
it.
I distinctly. Oh, you did edit it. I distinctly remember bringing up the Pete Holmes videos of like
right.
Wolverine getting fired, which is still one of the funniest things on YouTube, and I highly recommend everybody watches it. But
Yeah.
Fun personal fact, by the way, is the description of the Lavender Sea that we get in this story, in addition to kind of like the Upside Down that you mentioned, which is a great parallel. But
Thank you.
if you have played it, it is exactly like Chronopolis from the Chrono Cross game,
oh,
I haven't
I
gotten
don't
there
remember
yet.
that.
which is also my namesake in game.
Yeah, John's summoner name is Chronopolis CC.
Hey,
But-
well,
Are you
I'm
playing
excited to
Chrono
get to
Cross
the-
right now, Mark?
I started and then I have not continued it, but I want to continue it.
I haven't played it in like 15 plus years, so yeah, but John replayed it recently.
Yeah, they re-released on Switch, so I
Yeah.
replayed it.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, it's they didn't remaster it or anything.
No,
So,
if they had
I mean,
remastered it,
it's-
I think I would have replayed it, but they didn't.
There's a lot of like old. I mean, it's a PlayStation 1 game. It's
Yeah.
got a bunch of old mechanics and shit that didn't age super well, but it's got a bunch of cool stuff still. So
John's favorite game in the world, by the way, is Chrono Trigger, so that's why he's in
yes,
Chrono Cross. Not as much, but still into it. You got more notes on Pinwheel?
Oh, I've got so many notes on Pinwheel.
You have a lot of notes on Pinwheel.
I do have a lot of notes on Pinwheel. I just have a random aside here that the Lavender Sea, I would expect it to be calming just because it's lavender.
It does
but
sound
it's-
nice, yeah.
But the sea, it doesn't seem to be made of lavender at all.
There is a
There's
spa
no calming.
called the Lavender Sea somewhere. I think it's just the color lavender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are,
Yeah,
but there are
smell would be
living
the-
hands in this lavender sea that grab you. It is
Hey man,
the opposite of a spa.
that's what
Unless they're massaging you.
Yeah, right. The
Oh my
1,000-hand
God.
massage. Yeah.
Can we open up a spa called the Lavender Sea and just hands coming out of the wall that rub your body? I don't know how we're going to get the technology for that, but
We'll figure it out.
yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Thanks, hon.
Oh.
Now, this story is also the first kind of confirmation that Kaisa gets about, her daddy. They say, Bel'Veth says, only 2 still live, and of them, only you retain your full mind. She's like, 2? And Bel'Veth is like, yes, you and your father. Just the fucking casual dad drop.
Yeah.
But, how do you think she knows this? Like,
Ooh.
presumably,
I
who
wondered
did she
that.
eat that would have known this? Or,
eat.
or did she encounter Cassidon and not eat him, but eat his memories? In which case, if Cassidon and Kaisa are ever reunited, will he even recognize her?
Okay, that's some like weird fan fiction shit that someone's got amnesia, but I don't think
I mean,
so.
she specifically said he doesn't retain his mind.
Oh.
It doesn't say
Okay, never mind.
specifically how he lost it, but we know that she eats and gets memories. We don't have, we don't have any action pieces of her eating someone's memories without physically eating them. But
The
we
next
don't know how the
story
void works.
we're getting is her encountering Cassidon and eating his memories, and John's going to be like, nah, 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 nah.
Haha.
Dumb bitch, I was right.
It's like
He
a
says that
30s
constantly.
I do.
He
all the
does.
fucking
He
time.
always calls me a dumb bitch.
Dumb bitch.
You couldn't even finish
I couldn't
it.
finish.
I saw you like feel bad as you looked me in the eyes and said it. You're so cute.
It's going to be a 30-word story, though. It's going to be like, Jesus Christ, John, yes, okay, he eats the memory. She eats the memories, happy.
Sure. It's
By
just a picture of Jared Rosen throwing his hands up in the air. Like,
Jared Rosen is a notorious fan of the podcast.
but yes, I think you got a really good point there. It's something that like I really do hope it gets a story because she's even got quotes in game towards Kassadin. And, you know, I feel like maybe they were gearing up to give him some more lore, which he could really use.
Yeah.
And I would like him to be kind of not right in the head after all the shit he's been through and whatnot.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Really neat. And last thing I kind of had here, and I think I mentioned it, I think this was a cool description too. I might have mentioned it in the revisit episode anyway, but I'm going to fucking read it again.
Oh,
Pew,
okay.
pew. So this is when Kaisa's kind of coming to terms with the fact that she is super outclassed here. It's like, how fast can one person think? How fast can they react up against all that combined human biology, all that brain power, and the time it takes even a skilled tactician to formulate a plan? Hundreds of millions of possibilities run through Bel'Veth's mind in the span of a single second as she draws from the stolen memories of everything and everyone that has ever passed through the old city, an incalculable number of lives, every captive opponent faced with an overwhelming enemy since the formation of Runeterra could be snapping in and out of this thing's synaptic awareness, their emotions cataloged, dissected, endlessly fascinated over before Kaisa can even blink. What is one answer when your opponent has 1,000?
God, I really like almost fell asleep halfway through that.
Damn.
Shit. That was pretty cool.
It was cool, hon. It was so long, and I got, my brain is a dumb as we've established.
Anywho, last thing I had for this is that this story would go real good with a Void event. So,
Yeah, it would. Let's go, Riot.
Yeah, please. Oh, man.
I miss y'all.
Next up, we have Feast of the Prophet, also by Jared Rosen, which she's just kind of like, you know, she's never specifically called out by name.
Because she was not released yet.
Because she was not released yet. But there are a lot of things in this story that now make more sense. I have a few quotes that I think we puzzled over, but there are flashes within Mir's mind, an enormous shape looming behind the prophet and filling the entire night sky. Buildings, or something like buildings, but inverted and crooked beneath a vast unnatural ocean. Thousands of voracious creatures swimming in schools so large they block even the dappled light from the not sun, creating their own currents in the not water. Which, I mean, now we know
That's
what that
clearly
is.
Bel'Veth.
It's Bel'Veth in the Upside Down.
And the fishies. What are those things called? We just keep calling them fishies, right? Or is that me?
Remora is a term they use a
Yeah.
lot. I think that's the in-game name for them.
I like fishies better.
Well, I guess that's what they're called then.
Fishies it is.
Thanks. I'm the ruler.
And then he sees Malzahar again, shadowed by a shape too large. Why is it so large? Why is she?
Oh.
She.
Blah, blah, blah. Her?
And then the final one. This is kind of part of a big monologue that Malzahar is giving. But we are all, so you might need to buckle in. It's going to be a monologue.
I see this long paragraph you've written down.
But we are all changed by our experiences, are we not? I watched my parents die in Amakra, waste away to illness, yet they are not gone. Their memories serve a purpose, and the imprint they left on me made me what I am, and what I am made you. The void has tasted these memories, and it wants more. The void has embraced a new form, a new possibility. I once saw the world end in the absence of light and darkness, the totality of nothing, and that was wrong. So tonight, to you, to all my children, I confess the void has spoken, and now beneath her sea of lavender, she wants you, your memories, your experiences, existence. She wants everything.
Oh.
which, yeah, I mean, this makes a lot more sense too now.
Yeah.
I get they want to leave little breadcrumbs, but this was very nonsensical, I feel like, when we read it in a lot of instances.
I mean, I kind of got the sense of like, okay, I'm getting the hazy outline of what this is doing, right? As long as they follow up with things like the Bel'Veth, like even what we have here is like, that's fine. This fills in those gaps for me for sure. You know?
Yeah, it moved it. I really thought that piece when we originally read it was way more metaphorical.
Okay.
Bel'Veth is killing him.
I have a remora in my throat.
A fishy, you idiot.
But yeah, when we first read it, I thought it was way more metaphorical than it ended up being.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
it
true.
ended up being way literal.
Yeah, it actually did. That's certainly true. Something I found kind of interesting in looking back at it is that it's got little almost like hints of maybe future things, like talks about things happening in Noxus, like getting overrun by the Void, the Watchers breaking free. I don't know if these are things they're gonna do in the event, or if it's just like one future that may be, but
Yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
like, I feel like in the event, it's like, we'll see Noxus overrun by the Void, and like 2 Noxian champions are involved, and everyone else is question mark.
no,
And then it'll just be over, and there'll be no
no,
lasting
I refuse.
effects.
I say they won't fuck up again. I'm putting my trust in Riot. I don't know why.
Oh, shit. I love
This
it.
is like this would be
But
like
I
a
feel
good,
like-
again MMO thing, right?
Yeah.
I feel bad too. I feel like what we learned from the Star Guardian event, kind of, because we had to tap out right at the end of that. But you can have great writing and great stories and some great cinematics, and if the client team doesn't get on board and get their shit figured out, they can really fuck up a whole event.
That would be an interesting thing to go back and look at, because I was not really involved in that, but I would just check the subreddit every couple days, and it was just like something else that people were fucking mad about that had nothing to do
I
with
didn't
like
see
the
any of
writing
that.
of the event or anything like that. Like you said, it's a good point though, right? Like that's like a big thing to, I guess, grain of salt with all of the complaining that, like, at least I do about Riot, is that like it is a big complex product that they publish like near globally.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stick the landing sometimes.
We're just
It's not
assholes.
an excuse. Yeah, right. But
Now, there are 2 other short cinematics called Bel'Veth's Warning and Bel'Veth's Promise that were kind of teasers for Bel'Veth. In Bel'Veth's Warning, she's speaking to Vel'Koz and says, "I of the Void, your Watchers are incapable of understanding. I am the Void, and I will remake all of Runeterra." And we get to see Vel'Koz looking real scary-eyed.
yeah, I like that. There's a lot of emotion communicated from that scared little eyeball. You wouldn't think it, but
From his one big eye.
Yeah, big ass eye. Yeah, so he is clearly, he has enough knowledge to know that she's the real deal. And then we get Bel'Veth's Promise, where she's talking to Malzahar and says, "My prophet, your Empress, has arrived. Witness your reward, the end of everything."
Womp, womp,
And
womp.
Malzahar laughs, his mousy giggle.
yeah, they're
Why
cool.
did we assume Malzahar giggled that way at the same time?
Because
y'all are
he does.
vibing.
That's
We are vibing. That's true.
the new parents.
Yeah, we're
thing. They're
vibing on the
just
Kaisa
same page.
pants and. But yeah,
So,
those are cool. I would say that's a
yeah.
cool teaser thing to do for a teaser.
I liked it. Anything else on the stories before we move on to some quotes?
No.
No, I don't think so.
So the first thing that stuck out to me for the quotes is that they are very, I don't know who this will mean anything to, but for anyone who's played the Heart of the Swarm, StarCraft 2 campaign, she has a lot of Abathur vibes.
Nope.
He's kind of the the one who handles all the mutations and evolutions in the swarm. I wrote down some of his quotes and some corresponding Bel'Veth quotes. I won't make you guess whose is whose because you have no idea who Abathur is. But so Abathur says, look at flesh, see only potential, strands, sequences, twisting, separating, joining. See how it could be better. Eat flesh, splinter bone. Inside me can touch it, weave it, spin it, make it great. And then, must evolve, swarm not good enough. I will show you the future of the swarm. Oh my god, did I forget to write down the correspond? I did. I only wrote down his quote.
I think I know some off. Like, she's got ones where she's like change is necessary, or like consume, grow, and remake. She's got just like a ton of them, right?
Yeah.
They're like
trust
more
me,
hardcore.
she's got a lot of quotes.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this segment of John took bad notes.
Hey, at least John took
notes. Right? Yeah. She's like a more hardcore Kha'Zix, I would say, almost in that way.
Yeah. Another thing that I noticed is that she only has interactions with champs that have interacted with the Void at some point.
Oh.
And Viego.
Oh.
Yeah,
For
right.
one exception to that rule.
Interesting.
And her quotes to him, they would erase even her memory, ruined king. You can still save her. I'm not sure what her endgame is with him, but I'm interested.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I wondered about that a lot, because like you said, it's only the ones you would expect, really, and him. And I don't know if it's just to like set up that, hey, Viego might not be out he might still be a player in this grand game of what happens to Runeterra, or who knows. Again, that's maybe an MMO Wrath of the Lich King expansion right there. Wrath of the Ruined King. I'll tell you.
Bring him back. They
Wrath
just
of the
got rid
Bitch
of
King,
him.
more like it. Am I right?
Oh, shit. John, rude as hell. All right.
Although Jax doesn't get any interactions with her. But
That's true.
Whatever.
What the hell?
Whatever. It's because he's so old. He's probably in line for an update at some point eventually. All right, Jax.
Yeah, you think so.
Well, eventually, 9 years from now, right?
Yeah. Our daughter will be playing League by then.
Our daughter will be competing in Worlds.
Oh, you have high hopes for this child.
I believe. No, hopefully she learns it from someone else, though, because she's not learning it.
Oh, yeah, we don't know how to play League.
Now, Bel'Veth is only part of 1AU. Because, she just came out. She's in a lot of skins. But she is part of Arcade. There are 3 factions within this setting: the gamers, who are jumping into the gaming world, the natives of the game worlds, and rogue bosses who cause havoc in the game worlds. And this one is Battle Boss Bel'Veth. True final boss of the hit 1998 RPG, Initial Reverie 8. Bel'Veth has become a staple of the series thanks to fan popularity and her storyline about assimilating all of reality into herself. Recruited into the war in Arcadia by Vhagar, she has decided to ignore his commands, annihilate everything in her path, and assimilate all of Arcade World into herself. Who could have seen this coming?
So she's Bel'Veth, but in a game.
Yes,
She's
8-bit Bel'Veth.
8-bit Bel'Veth.
Yeah. I like the Final Fantasy refs. You know what I like about the splash is that she's got a boss health bar at the bottom of the picture, which I think is pretty cool.
I don't think I've seen this. I gotta look this up. I
I
didn't
was
realize that was her one skin.
I was trying to think too, because it seemed like it was an obvious Final Fantasy VIII thing. So I was trying to think which character in Final Fantasy VIII she was, supposed to be modeled after.
I don't know. I don't.
But
Yeah.
it had been too long since I've played. I know the boss is Ultimecia, but I don't remember what her motivations were. Maybe it was to absorb everything. I don't fucking know.
I mean,
Been
that
too
is
long.
very.
All I know is I can whistle you the final theme song for that fight because it fucking slapped. But I cannot
Look,
tell you her motivations.
I'm gonna say, if you don't know it, none of us do. That is a super, like, if you told me that was it for like almost any Final Fantasy or even just maybe JRPG final boss, I would be like, yeah, that lines up. Become like a new god and subsume reality and all that shit. Like, yeah, it's in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, everyone in Final Fantasy becomes a god at the end. Last thing I have is a handful of fun facts.
Let's do it.
Want some
Shoot
fun
it.
facts?
Yeah, what's up, Fluffy?
Bel'Veth is voiced by Anoush Navart. Bel'Veth has a pan-Middle Eastern accent intended to replicate a pan-Shuriman accent in universe.
Oh, okay.
Bel'Veth's concept was repurposed from the Void Ray champion concept that was canceled and then became Bel'Veth after they heard our great podcast
Yeah,
episode.
obviously.
I have no citation for that last bit.
None needed. We just
Right?
know.
Bel'Veth's name is a portmanteau of two concepts in Semitic mythology: Baal, the storm god in
Baal.
the Ugaritic tradition, and Maveth, the angel of death.
I thought it was ball.
I'm really ragging on you tonight.
No,
I'm
it's
so
fine.
sorry.
No, it's fine.
She's a mean drunk, man. Let me tell you.
Get one glass of wine in her and woo!
I wasn't able to drink for a very long time.
A scrapped spell tested on Bel'Veth was an ability that created permanent long-range portals across the map.
Jeez, Riot.
Weird. Like a zero.
Bel'Veth.
Sorry.
Right. Bel'Veth is one of 13 champions that have an ability that infinitely stacks an effect. And she has 2 of them.
Oh, fuck it.
I will say, I haven't played her, but I was just reading through her abilities because I was on the wiki. Why not? And I was like, God damn, this is complicated. This is a
Yeah.
lot of shit.
It is, yeah.
I love when you get a champion that like has a higher word count in their abilities than like the lore that they have.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's like some Aphelios bullshit.
Yeah, when you have champions where it's like, oh, well, they have weird, like, the attack speed is half of the, or like, more than, like, the half most median champion, but they've got the cap has changed, and it's like, oh.
Solve for X.
Yeah. Right.
I will literally never play those champions. I get so excited when they release like a Vex or something where I'm like, oh my god, I can. You know when you're an ARAM and you're trying to quickly read the abilities of whatever champion you got? If like it's taking up a quarter of my screen when I hover over it, I'm not reading all that shit. Fuck you, Riot. I'm just gonna
That's
press
like
the button.
passive.
Yeah, and that's the passive. There's like 8 passives. That's Extron. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, one of her infinitely stacking things, you're very unlikely to be able to infinitely stack. But, you know, it does technically. You have to be continually attacking something in order to keep stacking. But, you know, still counts. And finally, if Bel'Veth has an attack speed of 1.8 or higher, her attack animations will change to a thrusting animation at the target instead of swiping at them, which is why you'll sometimes see her go like a stabby flappy when she attacks really fast.
Is that because she used to just run around and, like, slap people, like, the full, like, pivot with her 2 big-ass manta arms? Right?
Probably.
I feel like I've seen videos of her just flapping around, like, I don't know.
Which I feel like they should have kept. I
yeah.
know that, like, I remember when I first started at Riot and they were doing like a little tour of the champion design. You know, it was one of the show and tells where they were talking about design concepts, but they were specifically mentioning like, oh yeah, one of the things we always have to account for is the auto attack animation. What will this look like at the attack speed cap?
Yeah.
And if it's too
Someone's gotta do
ridiculous,
it.
we have to change it. But I think those are all the fun facts I have for Bel'Veth.
Damn. Well, that's Bel'Veth,
That's
huh?
Bel'Veth.
How we feeling?
I'm excited for what the future holds.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is all we get of Bel'Veth, like, it's cool. I'd be disappointed not because of the quality of what we got, but because how many cool threads they left open.
Yeah, they're setting
So-
up something big. So
Yeah,
to
so if
not
nothing
fall
comes of
through.
it,
Yeah.
this would all be a bummer. But, I mean, I like what we have.
Sure. Yeah, this is like the prologue to something very
Yeah.
clearly, right? And I'll be curious to see, because we'll definitely do some revisit or something when more lore drops around it. And I'll be curious to see how they develop it. But it's a strong start. She's a fun like big bad. I think partially because there's not like much in the way of sympathy built around her, which I kind of like at this point. Like it can be fun to have your like brands, but it can be fun to have your like Bel'Veths, right? You know, just something that's big and evil and wants to fucking destroy reality, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to get a cinematic during the event that tells us all about her traumatic past.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
My big brother bullied me as a little baby manta ray.
Big Veth. Big brother, Big Veth. Okay. I think that was Bel'Veth. Thank you for listening. I guess I'll do my... I wasn't sure where to start next, John.
I'm probably going to do Nihilus probably next, right?
Yeah, I think Nyla
Well,
makes
hang
sense.
on. Well, I was going to do my,
Or actually, wait, how did they say
Neela?
Neela is how they've been pronouncing her in the LCS.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
not how I would have pronounced it, but
Well, I was going to say this is, we were able to squeeze this episode in, and we might not be jumping right back to Champions right away or getting right back to weekly podcasts right away. It'll kind of, we'll see how it plays out, kind of deal. And we do have some ideas for shorter episodes that maybe like two of us can do at a time as we try to figure things out with our new lives temporarily. But we'll kind of see. We'll keep y'all updated on, hopefully we'll keep you updated on Twitter. It's at Loreheads. I haven't been doing like the best job being on Twitter, but we'll see. We also have a Discord. John's pretty active on the Discord, even with our 6-week-old baby. He's been keeping track of, all the chats and everything. And if you ever were to like have a question and tag John or something like that in Discord, he would answer you.
yeah. And feel free to direct message me too. I feel like a lot of people direct message me and they're like, I don't know if this was okay, but feel free to direct message me.
He'll answer
It's always
you
fine.
a question or anything.
Sure.
But yeah, those are two of the things we have. We also have a YouTube. We post these there, and John has some fun parody videos. It's okay, honey. And we have a Twitch. It's twitch.tv/loreheads. We're going to hopefully get back to streaming. I think maybe this week for John. John's going to stream on Saturdays, and I'm going to start streaming on Mondays. That's kind of the plan right now, and we'll see what happens. We might kind of change it up. We cannot stream at the same time. Usually we would stream and we would both play League together, but one of us has to stay with the baby now. So we'll be streaming on our own. And we're not entirely sure what we're going to do. John's thinking about doing TFT nights and then occasionally playing some indie games.
Yeah, I did a little poll in chat, and it seemed to be pretty split between indie games and TFT, so I'll probably do every other week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, I might just play some regular League. I might start with some ARAMs, some norms, maybe play with some listeners. And I did toss around the idea in my head of playing ranked for the first time in like 8 years, which I think would be really fun. I'm kind of hoping to find someone to duo with me, so I'm not totally alone. But we'll see. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do. But anyway, yeah, that's twitch.tv/loreheads. Yeah, and we also have a Patreon. We recently watched the Warcraft movie and did a bonus episode about that for our patrons. That was like extremely fun. I edited that episode. It's fucking hilarious. I don't know if you listened to it, Mark.
I haven't.
It's like really fantastic. That was the first episode we did after having the baby, and I was having wine for like the first time in forever, and it was just it was great. Yeah, and thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda and All Chat tier patrons. Chloe Things, Crow, King of Hearts, Mylect, Phantom, Rel, Roberto, Shupa Moustache. You are amazing, and if Bel'Veth tried to swallow you and add you to her lavender sea, I would be like, no way, ma'am. So
You pick her
I would
void
not be able to
pocket.
stop her from doing it. She's very strong, but I would put up that token resistance for you.
Well, they appreciate that. We all appreciate that.
Great
God
job,
bless
John.
you. Thank you for your service.
I don't like to use the word hero, but
Anyway, join us next time, maybe next week, but sometime in the future, while we talk about something else. Perhaps a champion. Perhaps some other league bullshit.